And we are live. What's up, fight fans? This is Bill with Counter Punch Boxing News. And I want to talk to you guys about Chadwick Boseman. And I know there's no one on the chat. I'll let it load for whoever's up. I know it's late. I haven't been to sleep since I heard the shocking news of this Marvel superstar, boxing fan, boxing fanatic, boxing enthusiast, Chadwick Boseman. And it's one of these things that really hits home because for one, I worked with him through a production, and it's one of those things where you get familiar with a person. You um, Anybody you work with on a professional level or any kind of level, I guess, you get a sense of understanding with that person. Again, I know it's late. It's 1:51 here, so it's probably early in the morning for everybody across the globe. But those who don't know, Chadwick Boseman was suffering from cancer at a young age, in his late 30s, because he had, what was it, colon cancer, stage 3. And it's one of them things, man. It really It caught me by surprise because I didn't expect any of this. So I'm just sitting here like thinking to myself, like, wow. You look at a person and you figure you have it all figured out about a particular person. Then you found out you really don't. We have 3 on the chat. Um, can I get 3 likes? Hit the like button for me. Um, Chadwick Boseman, he was a cool cat because I personally worked with him. Okay, we worked on Black Panther. At first it's a big show. You don't really expect much from a show, working on a show like that, and you have all these people, you have all these egos, you have all this going on in the sport, in the industry, like you have, and then you see the main hitters or whatnot. I wasn't an actor in the film. I was a stunt performer. I doubled Zuri, which is the character of Forrest Whitaker, and I'm just blown away, man. How everything seemed fine and how focused the person is, despite what was really going on behind the scenes. Just like boxing, you can't show people your weakness, even when you come into the ring and something is wrong with you. You have to hide it. You have to have a poker face. Okay. You have to have a type of facade. Okay. And the facade that he had was undetectable. It was flawless. I didn't know that he was suffering from that at that time. You know, I had no idea. I know he was in good state, good shape, good spirits, very focused. I mean, I can't compare him to other shows or whatever because I didn't work with him on another show. Just the only one that I worked on, and I notice about certain, because this is a character acting thing. He was to himself for a while, you know. Who's ever in? I don't know if we are in the UK or the USA. Give me a shout out. I'll give you a shout out back. Um, it just took me by surprise, man, because this guy was a huge enthusiast of boxing. He was a very huge boxing fan. He was at the Bud Crawford fights. He was at the Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury fight. He was at a lot of these fights that he partake in. He supported, just like any boxing fan should do. Okay, so to tie it all in, a person that's a celebrity like he was. Weird to say he was. Um, love the sport of boxing. You love the finesse of the sport, and again, I'm just really just blown away by how 1 minute you hit, next minute you gone. You know, but I did spend time working with him, and I appreciate the time I did work with him, and a lot of things that happened in that production. It wasn't bad. It was a healthy, very big production, very stringent. We didn't take breaks and anything like that. I know this is rather off the topic of boxing per se, but you're dealing with a person that when we got on set, okay, and we did have conversation, and I had a boxing channel at that time also. I had the channel since 15, and we used to talk about boxing, and one of his favorite boxers was Joe Louis, and then that's how we really got along and we clicked, because Joe Louis was that guy that had to take a lot of things, just like the characters he portrayed, like Jackie Robinson and James Brown, and he had to portray these guys in these iconic films, and that's how we ended up clicking, because it was really a conversation, like as far as gelling went. Um, Michael B. Jordan, we were rather closer because we just got along better. I think maybe, again, he was more focused on, getting that character down, working on that. Joshua Gordy, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Welcome to the chat. Um, and Michael B. Jordan was, and he was the antagonist in the film, in the first, in the original, and we all sat there, and then he was just saying like, man, um, because it was hot, because this was, well, it wasn't summer yet, but it was still hot out there. We still worked 14, 15 hours, and he was a character actor, so he was that guy that actually spoke and stayed in character the whole time. So um, but again, he's seen the knowledge that I have of boxing or whatever. Rishi Dakoya, hey Kurt. Yeah, it just thank you. I appreciate it. It's just one of those things that catch you off guard. This is more like an accidental thing, because I wasn't really planning to go live, but I just needed to reach out with you guys, get you guys input on what's going on with the whole year of 2020. 2020 has been one of those years that it's like a big, if you, this is like a big nightmare. This whole year, let's just face it, the whole year was a nightmare. You got the Black Mamba, you got Black Panther, and you had boxing out of sorts for what, months, right? Mrs. S, morning from the UK. This this hit me hard. Ain't slept since hearing the news. Feel it for you as you knew the guy directly. What was you doing on set? I was a stunt performer. I doubled Forrest Whitaker's character Zuri. Um, they had to slick me bald, all that stuff. I did all of Zuri stunts, and that was the uncle of Black Panther, right? So he was the older guy, played by Forrest Whitaker, and I had to wear this big purple drooping thing on the show, and it was one of those films that it felt like you were dreaming, because you seen Angela Bassett, you seen Michael B. Jordan, you seen Daniel Kaluuya, you seen Yungle, you seen all these people, these people that you've already seen in these classic films. And normally I don't get stage fright because it's my job to do what I do or whatever I hired to do, but it did catch me off guard when I seen Angela Bassett, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. Especially the interactions with Chadwick Boseman, because he was never like a snooty guy. He was never that. You know, he was never a snooty person. He was never. At times, he was standalone-ish, but you can tell when anybody that's working and focused on a particular scene or something like that, you know, if you don't know about show business and getting into a certain character or a certain mindset, you're going to be that you have to focus. You're like, hey, leave me alone right now. I'm trying to focus. I'm trying to concentrate on what I need to do. Okay, so uh, he was more like that. So when you see someone veer off or whatnot, and they're by themselves, they're focused on certain things that they need to do to get the next scene successful. Otherwise you'll be there all day. So it was one of those things. Gator, never watched Black Panther, but saw him in the Avengers movie. Great actor, and from what I saw, was a great guy outside the theater as well. Well, after Black Panther came out, it was more of an obligation because a lot of people looked up to him. I mean, it stretched. A lot of people, it gave people, especially young black kids, something to look up to because there's not a lot of black superheroes. It's not, and when the movie came out, it gave a ray of hope and inspiration to certain people, and a lot of people. But it it was a it was a spike in the demographic of young black kids, and he was there for it. He didn't just get the money and ran and get the popularity and say, you know what, I'm rich now, you know what I mean, and just left off. No, he didn't do any of that. He would show up at like Comic Cons and other smaller venues and events, and a lot of people just thought that, hey, this is a regular Comic Con event, and he would show up just to show his appreciation to the people that looked up to him. That's the type of things that he did, and he would just spook a lot of people because out of behind the scenes comes Chadwick Boseman. So it's very surreal, very very surreal, very impressive. I gotta take my hats off to him. Greetings, Kurt from Malaysia. Johnny Best, counterpunch to you, brother. This is surprising to hear him die. Samuel Garcia Gaming. Yeah, it is. It's surprising to hear me say it. Um, and like I said, for those who don't know that just came to the chat, we started a conversation because anybody you work with, you're sitting around in chairs, and if you guys don't know anything about Hollywood or Hollyweird or whatever you want to call it, show business, it's a lot of preparation. Okay. And a lot of times you're waiting a lot. You're not just strenuous, physically doing a lot of stuff. What you're doing is you're waiting for them to get the next set. So a lot of things are psychological. So you need certain types of conversations to keep you entertained. And especially if you're working with somebody that you don't know, you've never met, you don't know anything about them, you normally spark this up. And I think I just did a Pacquiao video on set because I would go back to the trailer and still do my videos, Counterpunch Boxing News. So I was counterpunching since 2015, early April of 2015. And I had left the Facebook platform at that time. And when I came out, I was uploading it. And then we got to talking about, boxing. And a conversation came up about James Toney. James Toney, he said, well, James Toney was one of the most defensive fighters. And I agreed with him because who was the man back then? The man that was the boogeyman back then was Triple G. So Triple G, he was the guy that people were ducking, the Chris Eubanks, the Billy Joe Saunders. He already beat David Lemieux by that time, but those other guys didn't want any part of him whatsoever. So it was already a video that I previously posted, and Chadwick Boseman was like, one of the best defensive middleweights is James Toney. And I was like, man, I just did a video about James Toney because I do fantasy Wednesdays at times where you match up an old school fighter versus a current fighter, and I matched it up with James Toney in Golovkin, and James Toney I felt would have destroyed Golovkin, so that's how we got that bond, and we started talking about boxing and this, that, and the other. And come to find out, he was a very, very well schooled boxing fanatic. He loved it and he followed it, and it was one of those things where we would be talking about boxing, and the next thing you know, we're back doing the action stuff because we had to film a huge scene where we're in water in this big studio, and we had to, you know, we had to rehearse this scene with weapons, live weapons, of what so happened. And then when we cut, we're talking about boxing again. So it was one of those things. Boxing with Chadwick Boseman, they went hand in hand. And that's why every time you looked after the Black Panther, especially because that gave him his stardom. Hey, Jack, 44, 42 was good. James Brown, Get On Up was good. But then Black Panther actually just bolted him to that area, So it was crazy. Um, for another time, I want to see you stunt double the eye. Okay. G Day from Australia. XY. Counterpunch to you. Legendary moment in history, and you were there. Crazy. Gonna watch it again and see if I can see you. Mr. S. I was the drowning in the pool when he got stabbed. I don't want to. I hope I don't spoil it for anybody, but if you haven't saw the movie, but I was the guy in the water. So we had to choreograph. I had to stop. Killmonger from killing Black Panther. Right. So then I get stabbed for it. Then I fall in the water. Then I freaking sit there. So it's one of those things. And again, it's I'm proud to be there, but I'm also saddened just as bad because it's like I knew the guy. I worked with the guy for what, a month or so. Um, and you shake hands with him. You get to know who he is, what type of person he is, what he likes, what he doesn't like, the things that he was into. From what he's willing to share. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is not like, hey, we hung out after that. No, I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is, um, on a professional level, we spent a lot of time together, and um, I was blessed to work with someone that talented, that driven, that had that type of resume, that had that type of commitment to the craft of acting. Because a lot of times when you can act like something's wrong, that's one thing. But then the same token, if something is still is underlining wrong, that takes a whole lot of mind power. See, the guy, I worked with him in 2017. 2016, he was diagnosed with stage 3. So that should tell you a lot about this guy, that, hey, he had to build a bridge over those type of things and those thoughts in order to make a good performance. And it was a damn good performance in Black Panther. Okay. G Mac Chill, or G Mac Hill. Rest in peace, Chadwick, and sympathy to his family. Just buried my grandfather yesterday in loss and grief is a MF. Man, I feel sorry for your grandfather, man. My heart goes out to him. You know, um, I pray for you and the family, man. It sucks. You know, Hazara Bros love Black Panther. Well, look, the film is already made. Part two, I believe. As far as I know, it's already finished. So at least we got two. Then we also have the end game. We also have Infinity Wars. So we have a lot of him on top of the other films that he was involved in. I seen the Five Bloods yesterday. Okay, so and I knew nothing of this, not knowing hours later he would be gone. You know, Rocky couldn't carry my jock strap. What up, Kurt? Man, this is 2020. It's crazy. It is, man. It is very crazy. Very crazy. He never really spoke about his cancer either. Could have used his sympathy vote for, yeah, yeah, like a cushion time, and he never did. That shows a whole different type of strength right there, though. You got a guy instead of telling people, "Hey, I got colon cancer. Hey, let's fight for colon cancer. Let's raise money for colon cancer. Let me be the advocate for colon cancer." No, he didn't want that to be the spotlight. You know what he wanted to be the spotlight? The accomplishments that he made, the movies that he came out with. Okay, the passion and the craft that he put into his work for these films. That's what he wanted. He wanted that. He didn't want, "Hey, I'm sick with cancer. Please feel sorry for me or please give me money to help someone." No, no, no. He wasn't like that at all. So that shows a lot. And it also shows I don't think I'm that dude. Honestly. I mean, I don't think I'm that, like, if that was in me in that situation, I probably would have told somebody. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are people that knew, but in the same token, you know, no one really knew, you know, and it's just crazy. It just takes and you're going to die, and no one else really knows that outside of your intermediate family. It's crazy. And it also shows where the family is. That's they're one tight unit. So God bless them, and I hope everything goes gets better for them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just crazy. So many people are sick in Hollywood and we don't know. That's true. That is very, very true. Gator still love Triple G. Missed those days. Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna come back, bro. I don't know. I mean, he signed a contract and all this, that, and the other, but we don't really know what he's going to do, honestly. Rishi, what I noticed? Chad wasn't as big in the last movies, but I didn't think much of it. He definitely looks smaller than other guys. Rishi, let me tell you something. Um, I noticed that myself. And me being very opinionated, shit talker like myself, I seen him because someone published an article. I don't know who published it, but it was just showing like Chadwick Boseman with huge weight loss. And the first thing I thought of, like, damn, is he on drugs or something? Something wrong with him. But since I said he was on drugs, and then now knowing what I know, it makes me feel like it makes me feel like a dipshit because that should have popped in my mind besides something negative that somebody can't control nothing. The man was a vegetarian. The man concentrated on his craft. The man was only 43 age before kicking the bucket. So he had a lot of strengths and weaknesses. Okay, and it had nothing to do with it, and I feel guilty just by thinking that. You know what I'm saying? So it was bad, man. It's all this shit is bad. True, but go on Ellen or such shows and try use it. I don't think I ever saw anything about his cancer. You didn't. You didn't see anything about his cancer at all. Hazara Bros. I worked with him on Black Panther. This shirt, this is where I get the shirt from. Okay. Share a little something with you. It says, stunts here because I was a stunt performer. But everybody in production, from the actors to, the superstars or whatever, the main cast, everybody got one of these shirts that worked on the show, in main production. So this is an official shirt. I had two, and I gave my daughter one. So it was me and my daughter that have this shirt together. I tried to call and tell her, you know, we went to the premiere in Atlanta. Chadwick wasn't there, because him and Michael B. Jordan and the rest of the crew, they were in Korea opening that particular premiere. But they had three premieres. They had one in Korea, one in Atlanta, and then one in California, in LA. So, um, but no, it was a pleasure to work with them. And I can tell you horror stories about people, about actors, about actresses, about people with bad attitudes, people that you wouldn't imagine in 100 years to be that way that I'm explaining to people. But it's that way. Okay? But Chadwick Boseman, with Chadwick Boseman, he was nothing like that. Let me get my charger for my device goes belly up. Okay. Um, let me. Wakanda Forever. Counterpunch to that. Strangingness. If they ever make a movie about Al Heyman, Denzel Washington needs to play him. You in the office, baby. True talk. Having a few beers, you look tired. Yeah, I just came from an outing, so I ate a big meal, so I was thinking like, hey, look, I'm gonna watch a little stars and go to bed, but it's kind of difficult at this time. Thanks, man. I appreciate that a lot. I don't think you welcome. C Mac Chill. I don't think two is finished. It's listed to start filming February 2021. Well, they're gonna need a shitload of CG, a lot of some they have like the physicalities, but I wonder if they made anything. It's sad, man. King J, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Look, everybody just found out. So he had a unique voice and a cool demeanor that made him stand out. Was also very funny on talk shows. You know something about Chadwick Boseman? I want to share this with you guys. Um, some things I will, some things I won't. But I will do this. I always look at a person's laugh. I look at a person, I listen to a person's laugh, because laughs can't be faked. And he had one of the most distinct laughs that I knew. It definitely sounded like South Carolina. God bless the man. And you could tell, like, okay, a lot of times people, no, no. He looked back at me. We were filming, and it was, we were probably there 13, 14 hours plus one day. I don't know which day, but it was a long day. And we all had to have some type, it was this powder type stuff on us. And we had to put it on from head to toe. I don't really know. I don't know if it was for the CG or whatever it was. And he looked back at me and he said, this is the type of stuff they don't tell you about when you become an actor. Because he had this laugh just like that. And it was like, wow. It's like this is the stuff they don't tell you about right here. And it was just so crazy because it was an inside thing. A lot of people won't get it. A lot of people don't know the sacrifices that guys like Chadwick Boseman, other actors, stunt performers like myself, you know, go through to get a certain performance in a certain movie made. So, Condolences from Sweden. As much as he made us enjoy our times watching the great movie, as much as we should pray for his family, his friends in such hard times. God bless. Ahmed, you're absolutely right. It's mad how there's some people who are so strong that is unfathomable, and they don't even want to take credit for it to be. No, he wasn't a boasting guy. He was quiet. He was a quiet guy. He wasn't like this over the top, this, that, I'm in your face. No, no, no. He wasn't nothing like that. Okay. Kid Stacy, devastated by the news, huge loss. We don't have any leading brothers in Hollywood, so this hits hard. You know what, kid? I was thinking about that. I'm like, okay, Denzel Washington is getting older. Who is going to replace Denzel Washington as that guy? You know, Chadwick Boseman looked like he was coming into that particular platform on that level. So it is. It's a void, definitely. Lack 74. Sorry about the Chadwick, Katie. Yeah, it's sad, bro. It's sad. Kurt do his own stunts like Jackie Chan. Yeah, I do stunts. You know, I do stunts also. Damn, he died, man. Not believing so far. Yeah, look, just let you know. You know, legend has it Kurt taught Michael B. Jordan how to throw a counterpunch. Nah, nah, nah. I didn't teach him anything. Michael B. Jordan was ready before that. I mean, not as boxing ready, but you know, actually, he was one of the first big actors that I saw. King J, what's up, brother? Chadwick Boseman was a real king on screen and off screen. His energy will still move on among the earth. He was able to change the dynamics of black films in the space of 4 years. Yeah, he did do a lot. It like you know what that's like. I don't know when 42 came out, but that shit's kind of like some Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee shit to me. Because like Bruce and Brandon Lee both put in like a huge volume of work, but then died. This is what that's reminding me of. You know, when people say Wakanda forever, it's always be Chadwick forever. That's true, very true. Sorry about that, Kurt. Big up to Chadwick. Hey, Wakanda forever. Counterpunch to you. Graham B. Kurt, I really enjoy your video. Straight up common sense views. Keep it up. Thank you, Graham B. You know, I try to call it down the middle, man. You know, um, Kurt off topic, but since we talking Triple G, why is it okay for Triple G to face Steve Rose in his next opponent, but Canelo is trash for Abner Yildirim? Rocky, you know why well, it's not okay for any of them. Okay, first of all, Triple G should have picked someone harder, and they all picked that fucking guy, Rose. Golovkin, he's got a pretty nice contract, but it ain't shit like Canelo's. Canelo is the face of boxing, especially on that platform. So they're not allowing him to do that. That's it. Black Panther was not a success. He would still be alive. I think something was done to him, but now Wesley Snipes can play Black Panther. Wesley Snipes was going to play Black Panther back in the day. Don Cheadle, no, Don Cheadle's already War Machine. Little dude had stage 3 cancer before he got the role. Not everything got to be a conspiracy. You know, heard how you get into stunts. Many different ways. It's about already what you can do, what you grew up to do. Don't know why, but they seem to make these decisions. But it's crazy, man. Nonetheless, it's one of those things where if it teaches you anything, you should understand that life is a gift, man. You don't. It's not anything that's promised. So a lot of people say, man, what you want me to live my life like the last day? Well, I think you should live your life expecting not to have so much of it that you have and you think that you can put shit off when you could be doing it today. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things, man. Guys, I appreciate you guys coming on the chat. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna try to lay down for a while. Everybody on the chat, you have been counterpunched. Send your prayers and good wishes, good vibes to Chadwick Boseman. Again, you guys have been counterpunched, and you all have a good night. Peace.